morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is White Lightning 777, and I've been hearing these media people, especially going hard on Q-anon and flat out claiming this is false, this is disinformation, how horrible are you for quoting this? And, yeah, that's false that there are, satanic, pedophile, cannibals ruling the world and so on. But QAnon, whether they know it or not, hasn't proven that. Now, think of it this way. First of all, the issues I'm going to talk about are sensitive. So if you have mental issues, click off now. If you were abused as a child by a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever, some high-ranking person in society, don't go to QAnon. Call the cops, okay? That's where you need to go. QAnon hasn't put anyone in jail. The FBI has, as far as I can tell. Having said that, not every victim has the willpower or solid enough emotional constitution to go public, to go to the police, to go to a court. And a site like QAnon and people like that take anonymous testimony from victims and republish it probably suits their needs best emotionally. And some people do escape from these pedophiles. Some people do get out. And, if they didn't, we wouldn't know about this. But QAnon just proved everything that any social worker could tell you for a week. Think like a bad guy. Question: would a child abuser want their victim to think that all the successful elites in society, millionaires and billionaires and beautiful people, abused children and lived that kind of lifestyle? Yes. I think they would. Okay? Would these individuals want their victims to believe that snitching or running away is useless because they are part of a worldwide group of devil worshippers that owns all the governments and all the cops everywhere, and that they're in charge of everything? Okay? Would they want a victim to believe that? Of course they would. Would they threaten a victim, perhaps telling a victim, if you do what we don't like, we are going to sacrifice you to Satan and make drugs out of your brain, or other types of threats along those lines? Of course they would. All child abusers and all pedophiles threaten and control people, and many of them use very outlandish concepts and ideas in those threats. And think about it. These people are rich. They can afford to, make an altar with a pentagram and throw red paint on it and say that they killed somebody, or a fake snuff film, or maybe even get together and, kill one victim and use that footage over and over again to intimidate the others. Everybody knows that pedophiles, go on the dark net and communicate with each other and, stuff like that. I mean, everybody knows that. This is common knowledge. Any cop will tell you that. Any social worker will tell you that. Probably a bunch of pedophiles got together and they figured that this type of brainwashing was fairly effective. Of course, the victims escape, and that's all they know, and the victims repeat the rumors they heard. Now, what can a victim tell you accurately? They can probably tell you who they fooled around with, who they were pimped out to. They may be able to tell you who the individuals were who went after them, like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. But as a victim that is in a state of confinement and brainwashing, do they know what is going on in the larger world? Absolutely not. They know less than you do. Do they really know the extent of the conspiracy? No. They only know what they were told, what they were shown. And obviously, and of course the pedophiles, would want to intimidate people in the outside world. Hey, You take us on, it might be like taking on the mafia. You better watch your back. Those Satanists are going to get you. I mean, all of these lurid accounts prove that child abusers are child abusers are child abusers. You know, and well, what should we do if you encounter a victim like this? We need to help them any way we can. If necessary, welcome them into our home, hold their hand, laugh, cry with them, and maybe in a month or a week or a year or 5 years, we can gently prod them into productive action, which is, of course, talking to people who have the forensic knowledge and training necessary to bring down these devious monsters and put them in cages where they belong for the rest of their lives. QAnon, probably for some people, for some of these victims who say these things, is probably, in a twisted way, or, well, actually, a non-twisted way, a good first step towards their recovery. Obviously, it's best if victims just go to the law enforcement immediately. But this is the real world. Life is sloppy, and people, don't always act 100% logically, especially when they're traumatized. And these lefties that are yelling about QAnon, I mean, why are you so interested in not talking? I mean, I know pedophilia is a difficult issue to talk about, but why are you so interested in denying that this is going on? Now, are there pedophile networks? Yes, there probably are 40 or 50 other Jeffrey Epsteins out there. They don't rule the world. Well, unless they're legends in their own mind. They may want to, I'm sure, but they don't. And what does ruling the world mean? Does it mean that you have a mansion in every time zone in the world? Or, that's a pretty nebulous term to begin with. So, I think that there is absolutely no common sense when it talks to discussing the subject of QAnon. Now, what's the site like? Overall, it's kind of like the National Enquirer and TMZ. It's sort of, gossip with a political spin, and some of the stories are, just probably factually true, and others are sort of gossip. I mean, again, it's not some horrible terrorist thing. It's like the National Enquirer. It's like something that you could buy in a damn supermarket, and except it's online, and in many cases free, and actually kind of more entertaining. But again, consider the source and consider the perspective of the source. These victims aren't lying. They're just repeating what they saw and heard, and what their state of mind was. But their state of mind, although real to them and to the people they tell, is not in fact in reality. Of course, the victim tells somebody, they're heartfelt, they're emotional, they're that way, and they can convince whoever they tell as well, because they're honest, and that emotion can, oh, I know this person wouldn't lie. I know they're not lying. Well, you're right. But they haven't been given good information in the first place. Anyway, this is White Lightning 777 signing out.